George, can we have a round of applause?
Thank you, Scotty and Big Al. You take me back to the days of Big Bob Francis doing Adelaide Tonight, or was it Tiny Ernie Sigley? They were all talented people.
He was tiny, wasn't he?
And they were out there making fabulous television. It was live, no delay, no digital. They didn't know anything else. They did it all, as they say, right down the tube.
Yes, on the couch as well. I think their last one was on the couch. It was very relaxed. Wouldn't be surprised if they had a cigar and a nice scotch, which is exactly the same way we do our show. So it's.
Well, I reckon you guys, if you stick around and start knocking up the hours that it demands, you might end up doing a brand new hosting of the Logies Global or the Logies Australia-wide. Can you imagine that?
That would be fantastic.
Why not? Why should there be any borders? Why should we do it just at the Star in Sydney? It could easily be online across Australia. Scotty, John, and Big Al.
Yeah, we could do it from the Arca Bring the budget down.
No, live from the Arca Bar.
Too many memories. Oh,
so you've got a long history with South Australia and Adelaide, George. I mean, to us, your voice is, it's like it just brings back memories, because I can remember you were saying you were on the news from 91 to 2000.
From 91 to about 2010. But I launched SBS. I keep forgetting. I launched SBS in Adelaide in 1985.
Right.
So I came in. The Lord Mayor and his lovely wife invited me to come in, and we had a marvelous time at the town hall. We had a great lunch. We met a whole bunch of people. I toured Adelaide at the time. I think it was Angela Condis and her husband. Great people. Made me feel very welcome. And SBS was a fabulous introduction for me. And I can remember when I came
you on SBS back in the day.
Oh, yes, there you go. That tie has not got any wider in all the years. And I think we're almost back to that size.
Yeah. I've got to say, George, you haven't aged much. You look much the same.
You know how fashion has this sixity, and it's a bit like rebooting. Oh yes, thank you very much. You mean I've gone white?
Well, I mean, you're very much the same. Very, very similar features. And
a fantastic voice. That voice is iconic. Still got it.
That belongs to a bit of DNA. Mum and dad. My father had a fabulous voice, and I can remember he's a polyglot. He spoke 7 languages. Taught himself English when he arrived in Australia, and it was so good. When I was about 16, and I think my girlfriends would ring, and in the days when we didn't have mobile phones, people should know that in those days there was the phone. It was attached to the wall, and when it rang, whoever answered would call you if it was for you. But my father had this wonderful way of, talking to anyone who rang, and after about 15, 20 minutes, he'd say to me, "The call's for you, George." And I'd get on it, and it would be a girlfriend of mine, and she'd say, "Who's the guy with a fabulous voice?" I go, "That's my father. Back off."
Yeah.
And it was his way, and it was his way of testing to see how good his English was.
Oh, that's
because he never went to school here, which is even more remarkable, because he ran a number of businesses very successfully, automotive engineer, motor mechanic. He taught himself to fly. He taught me to fly when I was 15, 16 at the Illawarra Flying School at Bankstown in Sydney. And he wanted to make sure that his 2 sons, my brother Stephen and I, went through his apprenticeship. He wanted to teach us how to drive, how to ride a motorbike, how to fly a plane or launch a boat. He didn't want us to find out in the most dangerous fashion with our peer group, because it could it could end very nastily. And he was that protective, that wonderful. Yeah, special guy.
You only started speaking English when you were 7, so your diction, your pronunciation is fantastic. And guy from the northern suburbs, I'm very jealous, to be honest. It's
look, when you have someone speaking to you in a number of languages from very young, your ear picks up all the nuances. And I can remember I stuttered terribly, stuttered from about 12 to about 14, 15, 16. And I can remember sitting down with an old Grundig tape recorder, the old reel-to-reel, and put a set of headphones on. And my father would come in and he would watch me, and I would be reading from, an encyclopedia, or I'd be reading a graphic novel, and I'd be recording it. And it was my way of trying to get me to stop stuttering. And in a crazy way, it worked. And I found my pace, I found my tempo, and the rest is history, isn't it?
Yeah,
that's amazing.
And you ended up on Talkback Radio on 5AA here in Adelaide for some time, right?
Well, I had a fantastic time. There were very few opportunities I didn't get in South Australia. I didn't get to play for the Adelaide Crows, even though I was there for the opening game against the Hawks. They called it First Blood. I was there with Bruce McAvaney and Peter Marker, and Peter Marker said to me, "Listen, you just sit down, relax, and watch some history in the making." And I looked at him and said, "Pete, why are you so sure that the Crows are going to make this fabulous, first impression?" And he said, "I'll tell you after the game." And he and Bruce McAvaney were trading, joking before the game. And Bruce said, "Well, I think Hawthorn will win this, championship side," and as they were in those days. And I said to them, "Why don't you put a lazy bet down, a few dollars here and there?" And Bruce McAvaney, said, "Sure." And Peter Marker very happily put $10 down. And as you know, Peter Marker said to me, "The Crows are going to win this by 10 goals going away." Now, if you think about it, that was crazy stuff. But as it turned out, that was the history. And as I said to you earlier, Peter had said that to me. He said, "I'll tell you why after the game." And as we're driving home, Peter Marker was wonderful. He was my sports host when I arrived at Channel 10. And he said to me, "You've got to remember, for Hawthorn, it was just another game. But for the Adelaide Crows, it was history." And they were fired up. They were on edge. But they also knew under Cornsey that they had to do something breathtaking. And they knocked it out of the park. And it was exhilarating, just exhilarating. So I didn't get to play or try to be full forward for the Adelaide Crows, which was one of the few opportunities I didn't get. Russell Ebert got me to play some celebrity games, which was frantic and crazy. I remember in my first game, believe it or not, I had to stand a guy called Fabulous Phil Carman.
Oh, right. Jeez.
Now, which sane Greek Armenian boy from Sydney would ever say, "Yeah, no worries, I'll do that"? We had 49,000 people at Footy Park at Westlake waiting to see how I was going to get chopped up. And while I've got all my energy and focus on watching everything coming out of Carmen, guess who wiped me out? Erin Phillips's father, Greg. They apparently had tossed before the game. They didn't want to say too much, but they knew that I'd be looking out for Fabulous Phil. So they double teamed me and wiped me out in a most gentle and wonderful way. But that was my introduction to
who wants to take down George Donikian? That's just mean. That's un-Australian.
They were great. And I repaid Mr. Phillips by inviting young Erin as a 14-year-old girl to join us in one of those celebrity games before the Crows played Geelong a couple of years later. And this 14-year-old girl, as you all know now, turned out to be a magnificent athlete, a magnificent member of the Phillips clan. And she's proven herself, 3-time MVP, She did it twice for the Crows and once for Port Adelaide, and that was for Dad.
Yes.
And
Adelaide Crows Hall of Famer as well.
Mate,
so
not only Hall of Fame, I keep saying to people, if you have never been to Adelaide, don't ever sell it short. It's the most wonderful nursery of great talent. As a baseball state, it had some of the very best baseballers in the country. As a cricket state, it's had some of the most wonderful names. As a soccer state, it's made some fabulous history. Adelaide City was a tremendous side. And on it goes. The Adelaide Reds at the moment have launched, a number of young identities. And the latest, can I just say, has signed for Sporting in La Liga in Spain. His name is Nestor Iracunda, and they've made a HD introductory tape, and it looks like it was made for Michael Jackson, and it's him wearing the glove and playing the music.
I've seen
that. And it's breathtaking. This is a young kid, that came as a refugee with his family and has risen to be a superstar down under, and he's making now a brand new career for himself in Europe, playing in one of the biggest leagues in the world. He made a reputation for himself last year playing for Watford in the Championship. And it's just, people can bag or want to try and bag Adelaide. But I'm here to tell you, it's Australia's very best kept secret. Mind you, if you keep succeeding under the current government, then you might have to watch a whole bunch of new residents wanting to make their way to Adelaide, because Victoria at the moment is reeling. It's in a state of distress. This is the very same state that used to look across the border and say, "Oh yeah, Adelaide, who wants to go there?" A great many Victorians now think that Adelaide looks spectacular.
Looks all right.
Yeah.
Well, we've got their MotoGP. We've got everything that
mate, you had
used to have.
You had the original Grand Prix in '85.
That's right.
Which knocked everyone for six.
Yeah.
You showed the world.
Jeffrey Kennett stole that.
Well, you see, Ken, look, one of the things
we won in the end, Scott. We won in the end.
Yeah, Scotty,
we had George Donikian.
We had a bit of... Can I just say, one thing we learned very early on, Adelaide knows how to do special events. It's done it forever with WOM Adelaide. It's done it with Tasting Australia. You put an event on. If you want a special event, you give Adelaide a chance to host it and do it and showcase it. We made the Clipsal 500 a world-class event. And remember when the V8s were in Victoria, they were the support act. When they came to Adelaide, they were the main event. This is what Adelaide does. It has this fantastic ability. And I love people. The more people I hear wanting to bag it, I keep saying, you just keep bagging it. It'll just keep churning out talent. Jane Riley was a star. Wilsey was a star. Sigley was a star. Francis was a star. He brought the Beatles to Australia in '64. I mean, people, the Chappells. Chappelli was my boss when I was at Channel 9, when I left SBS and went to Channel 9. And they let me work on Wide World of Sports. David Hill, the original David Hill, who, along with Sam Chisholm, left Channel 9 to go and save a guy called Rupert Murdoch. Heard of him? He owned a thing called B-Sky B in Britain. And he asked these two boys from Channel 9, he said to Packer, "I want them, I need them." And they agreed to go over. They not only saved his bacon, but they launched, wait for it, the English Premier League, the EPL, the biggest global sporting platform in the world today. It owes its origins to two young Australians who were fearless. David Hill, of course, revolutionary, helping Channel 9 to create the cricket by taking the cameras closer to the action. Right?
With stunt cam.
And they did the same thing to the old English First Division, and they turned it into the English Premier League. And then when they thought they had done enough there, They went to America and launched Fox Sports and Fox News. So a couple of Australians and a great many of them who'd cut their teeth learning about television in Australia and in Adelaide.
In Adelaide, yeah.
Chappelli will tell you that they were tremendously talented people, and this country must never, ever have this cultural cringe and doubt itself. You guys, I keep saying to you, don't limit yourself to Adelaide Live tonight. Make it Australia tonight.
Australia tonight.
We
Why
totally
not?
should. Let's do it.
You know, break the boundaries.
Yeah.
You know, shoot for the moon. And, you know, all you need is special guests, and we'll come.
Awesome.
We'll love it.
All right.
The bigger the audience,
From next
the bigger the platform, we're here.
George has renamed it Australia Tonight.
Australia Tonight does sound good. It's got a nice ring to it.
Tonight.
Australia Live Tonight. I mean, can you do our voiceovers? That would be great.
Why not?
Yeah,
Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. Scott John and Big Al with Australia Live across the country.
Amazing.
Coast to coast. Can you imagine?
Wow. That'd be
fantastic.
fantastic.
You know that we're going to use that from now on.
Yeah, you use it. You mentioned coast to coast, and I go straight back to my days with
Graham Kennedy.
Graham Kennedy, Kenny Sutcliffe, Johnny Mangos, all those people. And I can remember when I went to Nine, and my promise was that they would let me do the world news at 10 o'clock across Australia. And that was the promise. What I didn't know was there was a guy called Graham Kennedy coming at the same time. So I got cut off at the pass. But Kennedy wanted me to be his first banana. And I said no. Kenny Sutcliffe, who had been at Channel 9 for 11 years and no one knew he was there, said yes. And in 12 weeks, he went from nobody to household name. Talk about being smart. And then when Kenny went to Kerry Packer and said, "You said to me, I can't do Wide World of Sports until I got a profile. I've got a profile. What about it?" And Kerry, of course, a man of his word, said, "Okay, you can do the Wide World of Sports," which then meant we needed to go back to Coast for a new anchor to sit next to Graham. And he said, "George, I'm asking you again." And I said, "No." He said, "Well, what are you going to do?" I said, "I'll get you a guy." And I rang a young friend of ours called Johnny Mangos, who was the correspondent in LA. And I said, "Mate, stop doing the prepackaged stuff for the Nine News. Come and do some live television with Graham Kennedy." And he said, you wouldn't be leading me on, would you, Donikian?" I said, "Would I do that to you, John?" And he was on the next plane, and he came and he sat next to Graham, and the rest is history. And I did the news while they played games. There you go. That's Nikki Dwyer.
Yes, that's Nikki Dwyer and yourself.
She's a gorgeous girl, gorgeous, generous girl.
Online still. So that's what we remember. It reminds me of my dad watching the news every night, and you'd be telling us the news, and my dad would be sitting there going, "The world's gone mad." That was his catchphrase. The world's gone mad.
Can I just say, Scotty, your father was ahead of the game. Yeah. The world has gone mad.
The world has
gone mad. If you look at us today, if you look at what's going on today, there is so much disinformation. There is so much nonsense spoken. There's so much noise. It's like we want to fill the world with social media nonsense so that the real stuff that needs to be addressed isn't being addressed. That's how South Australia, is staying ahead of the game. You've got people out there who want to do business and they're doing it properly. The government is trying to maintain some idea of the money it wants to spend. It's got to be careful. It doesn't really want to raise the debt level any greater than it is. Otherwise, it ends up being Victoria, and you wouldn't wish that on anyone at the moment. $200+ billion in debt, and all we're doing at the moment is just servicing the debt, and it's costing us millions. And it's got to be looked at. There's an election coming up in November, and I just want people to think long and hard. 12 years, no government. I don't care what their political persuasion is. deserves to be there for any longer than half a dozen years, because they get entitled, they get comfortable, and all they want to do then is perpetuate their own backside, protect their bum. If you want to govern in any state, any local council, any country, you've got to do it for the good of everyone, not just your party, not your supporters. If you're there to govern, you should be governing for the good of the whole state or the whole nation. And that means everyone. And you've got to bring them along with you. Leave no one behind. We keep talking about being brave and being strong. Well, we need to stop talking about it and actually doing it. Too much performative nonsense going on. It's called push polling. You got politicians left, right, and centre saying to you, "Oh, this is what we're talking about," when all they're talking about is something that doesn't mean a thing to anyone. And that's not
you heard
good.
it here first. I think George is running.
I wouldn't wish. I'm a bit like Hughesy. I believe the time has come. For those of us who aren't impacted,
George, you've got to do your own show like this. Have you thought about doing a live George Live Tonight sort of show?
Okay, I've been asked to do things like this, but my view always is, and
Donikian for PM, says Jason Pestel.
No. My view is always, I'm a great team player. I like being in a team. I like being a part of a group because I love that energy. My ego is healthy, but it isn't at that level where I feel that it needs to be just me. I'd love good people. Let's stir the pot. Let's open the conversation, and let people ask why we think the way we think. I've said to people time and time again, the most important thing in life is to see something for what it is, not what you think it is. So we're playing football. You wear your colours and you wear them proudly. In politics, it's about what's doing the best for you and your family and the people around you. It shouldn't be about, it's really good if I support this team because that's my ideology. No. You can support a team through thick and thin. In politics, you've got to support the ones who are supporting your state, your council, your country. And I'm looking around, and there are only a few states that are doing some good things, and they're keeping a lid on what's happening. There are some really good players who deserve to be supported, and there are a whole bunch of others that need a kick up the proverbial and a reminder that entitlement is not for you.
Well, George, thank you
so much. Have I worn you out now?
No, all good. Well, look, we do have a couple of questions for you.
You got questions?
Corey,
has Jane Riley rung up again, has she?
Yeah. We'll have to keep it tight because the other guys are waiting on the line, mate. And I know Zach's got to get up in the morning. He does Brekkie radio. So we'll give George a couple of questions.
Yeah, Corey, have you ever gone news attire on top, bottoms or shorts on the bottom?
No. I was well trained at SBS. Bruce Gengel said to me, "Not only do you have to be the part, you have to look the part."
Yes. And
the one thing I would never do is wear shorts. I felt that was wrong. That was it's too much of it's a too relaxed feel, yes. and it actually works against you. I've seen how television anchors, sporting anchors primarily, because they think the weekend is low key. Actually, when you're working on the hottest sporting program in the country, which was Wide World of Sports, it demanded that you give the best and you be the best. And you never got a chance to think too casually. Otherwise, a red phone would be ringing and a guy called Kerry Packer would be saying, "You can take Donikian off. I've had enough of that."
Yeah.
So when Kerry demanded the best, he got the best.
Yes.
And I think it was one of the reasons why the Nine Network for a great number of years was the one.
Yeah,
it's not the case any longer, unfortunately, but it's the nature of the beast.
Everyone's
television,
on YouTube now.
Television.
We're all on YouTube.
Hey, YouTube is a tremendous platform, and I'm finding myself these days accessing programs that have been denied to us for years, not because they wouldn't show them. They didn't believe that they were worthy for us. And my view always is the most exciting thing about YouTube is you fire into the lexicon there what you're looking for, and it'll find it. So when Australia Live across the country goes coast to coast, I'm going to be able to look up Scott John and Big Al and say, can you show me the episode with Donikian? So, there you go.
Pull it out. That's all I'd like.
Pull it out.
Right.
I'll take you back to a horror moment and a fun moment. Wide World of Sports. I was doing the State of Origin rugby league, right? Now, I'm a football guy. I'm a sports tragic, but Channel 9 wanted to indoctrinate me into the team very quickly. George, run on and do the man of the match presentation at the end. It was the Winfield Cup man of the match award, $1,500. Imagine, right? And sponsored by Winfield, which is a no-no these days on television. Yeah. But I've run on with 2 cameras to announce the winner of the 1989 man of the match at Lang Park. And it happened to be a 19.5 stone part Torres Strait Islander called Sam Bacco with the handlebar moustache. Yeah?
Nice.
He was a fantastic guy. And I said to him, mate, Winfield just given us the money, $1,500, and we've just sent these pictures across Australia, and your parents have just seen you play this spectacular game. You must be over the moon. And before I get you to answer that question, I've got to say to you, the Australian Rugby League selectors have named you in the Australian pack to play against Great Britain next weekend at the Sydney Cricket Ground. And I made the mistake of saying, now, how does that make you feel? And he says, I feel fucking great. Oh, sorry, George. And I thought, oh, nothing more we could add from here. And Daryl Eastlake was on camera doing the hosting with the great Jack Gibson. And I said, nothing more we can add from down here, boys. Back to you. and Daryl, being pretty quick, looked up at Jack and he said, Jack, what an outstanding match this has turned out to be. New South Wales were red-hot favourites to win this game. When did you think they were in trouble? And Jack Gibson, dry as anything, looked down the camera lens and said, actually, Daryl, I thought they were in trouble at the start of the national anthem, which is just beautiful. Yeah, and very quickly covered my faux pas.
Yes.
and yeah.
A professional.
Yeah.
Well, all right. Well, you have to come back again, George.
Please. Any time, mate. As long as you give me enough lead in, and I can do the, ladies and gentlemen, stand by as we take you coast to coast across Australia. This is Australia Live with Scott John and Big Al.
Oh, look at that. He's a professional. We'd have to pay good money for that normally.
I know.
Hopefully we don't get an invoice in the mail.
Oh, gee. You mean I can send something through?
Yeah, for sure. Scott's and Joyce is.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys, for the opportunity to have a bit of fun. Listen, look after yourselves and all the very best, guys.
Take care.
Mate.
See you at the Logies.
Yes. Can't wait.
See you there.